Hi everyone, this is Heather Lottanen from the Flourish Academy. This is episode 482, and before I talk about this very serious issue, dare I say a mistake, I want to make sure that you have seen the link for the upcoming free live online training that we're having, the 6 most common photography mistakes and how to avoid them. But the funny thing is, I had those 6 mistakes to find, and then yesterday I got this phone call. So now I either need to change one of my mistakes or add this to it. I don't know which. I'm going to post the link below. Make sure you register. Even if you're not available, if you register, you can get sent the replay. Okay, so let me back up. I get a lot of phone calls and text messages about photographic emergencies. And the one thing I always say is there's no such thing as a photographic emergency. Truly, whatever it is, you'll be fine. In this case, I think this is warranted. I think this is a true emergency. The photographer called me and said, and I asked her if I could share this. She said, Heather, I shot a wedding last weekend. I just went to copy the cards and the card is completely blank. There are no photos. No photos. Card empty. No photos. I said, what do you mean empty? Like if you put it in your camera, can you see anything? Nope. The camera doesn't even see the card. Okay, so you put it in your computer. Does it mount? She shoots with a D750. I said, can you see D750 when you place this in your computer? She said, yes. I said, okay, that's good news. Because if the card mounts, we can run some photo recovery software and see what we can find. But I said, give me some more information about how this went. Okay, so she shot the wedding on Saturday. She was looking through the images. She saw them. She was looking through the images on Sunday on her camera. She saw them then. And I said, how do you have your dual slots set up? She has a D750 again. So she said, I have it set to overflow. And I said, mistake number 1. If you have dual slots on your camera and you are a wedding photographer, you should absolutely be shooting those as backup, and it's a setting. On all cameras, you have to set, is it overflow or backup? But you should have it set to write an image to each card for every photo that you take. Actually, Chrissy just joined on this live, and I might mention your scenario a few years ago. Okay, but that was before dual card slots, so there was nothing you could have done about that. Okay. If you have dual card slots and you are a wedding photographer, you are really playing with fire if you're not using that as a backup. There is absolutely no reason on the planet that I can think of as to why a wedding photographer would use dual slots as overflow. It just doesn't make sense. If it's because you only have a couple of cards, buy more cards. Now, I will shoot overflow on these cards if I'm shooting something that's not important to me, but yeah, if you're not shooting weddings, overflow is fine. If you have 2 cards, you shoot on one, it goes the other. That's fine. Because usually, if you're not shooting weddings, it's something that you can recreate if you needed to. You can't do that with weddings. Always, always, always on backup. Okay, it's too late for that. She shot at an overflow. It just so happened that it was card number 1 that was corrupt. And card number 1 contained, I'm estimating, about 90 to 95% of the wedding photos. There were very few photos on card number 2, and it was card number 1 blank. So of course she is freaking out. She says, I'm just going to be sick. I can't imagine. What are we going to do? I told her to relax. Let's get some photo recovery software going. So we downloaded Stellar Photo Recovery, Stellar Phoenix. If you look that up, it's $39 or $49. By the way, you can download the free version. Hear me clearly. Every photographer on the planet should own photo recovery software, and you should know how to use it so that when this happens, you're not freaking out and trying to learn how to do something that you should have already known how to operate. So as you watch this video, you are going to go find photo recovery software, download, install it. You're going to pull one of your old cards and you're going to run it and see what you come up with. I ran Stellar on this card yesterday and came up with photos from 2016. And I guarantee you this card has been formatted 15, 20 or more times, and it will find images on your card if they are there. Okay, so I had her download that software. She installed it, she ran it. It was like a nail biting, 30 minutes to an hour. And that software found 6 1,000 photos on that one card and recovered all of them. So, woo, catastrophe averted. She was able to sleep last evening and she learned a very, very valuable lesson. And I said to her, good news. Number one, it will never happen again because you're going to set that to backup. And number two, you now know how to use photo recovery software. If you are a photographer and you don't have photo recovery software, you are not being smart. You should have it on your computer and you should know how to use it. The way it works is you put your card into your computer, and if it mounts, I'm going to come back to that in a second. If it mounts, that photo recovery software, it'll ask you, hey, what drive do you want me to scan? You pick the card, you let it do its thing, and it will find the images. Again, you can download a free version and you can let it run and it will show you if it found your photos, and then you can pay if you want to recover those photos. $39, $49. I guarantee you that this photographer would have paid anything in order to get those photos back. Okay, so she did, but I said to her, hey, yesterday was Thursday. So I said, hey, it's Thursday and you're just now copying these photos to your computer? Oh yeah, I was busy. Okay, well, where was your camera? What was happening? Camera was in the bag, in the closet, it was up, kids didn't touch it, nobody touched it. I said, so you're telling me on Sunday you were looking through those images on your camera and now it is Thursday and they're gone. Listen, I'm no Houdini, but that's just not possible. If a card is going to go corrupt, it happens, you see it, it's either corrupt or it's not. Okay, well, whatever. It is what it is. But I said, why is it Thursday and you're just copying these images? I honestly, as a wedding photographer, could not sleep on Saturday night after shooting a wedding. I don't care if it was 8, 12, 16-hour day. I had to get those copied to my computer and backed up so visually so that I could see them before I could sleep at night. There's no reason for that to happen, for it to be Thursday and you're just now looking at these images and trying to pull them off the card. Because had she done it Saturday night, this wouldn't have been an issue. No, it's fine. It all worked out. But again, a lot of very valuable lessons here. You need photo recovery software. You have to understand how to use it because when it happens, you will be freaking out. And if you have dual card slots, you guys, and you shoot weddings, it should be on backup. Okay, but my friend Chrissy is here, and I'm going to share a story about one of her memory cards, and this was compact flash, so this was several years ago. She had a single slot in her camera, and that card was corrupt. I have some theories about why that card was corrupt, Chrissy, and I think you know them. That card went on a little trip between devices, but anyway, it wouldn't mount. So she brought it over here, we tried it, she tried it, I tried it on several different devices. The card wouldn't even show up. You can't run photo recovery software if the card isn't recognized. So that put us in a very challenging situation. Like, what do we do next? Because in all of my years of dealing with corrupt cards, 16 years, I've worked with multiple corrupt cards. Every single one of them is always mounted, except for Chrissy's. So when they mount, then I'm like, okay, I'll just run photo recovery software, and I've never lost an image. I've had 2 corrupt cards from weddings. Every image was recoverable. And then you know what I did with the card? You know what I did? I threw it in the trash and I bought new ones. They're so freaking cheap. Go buy more cards. Okay, but in Chrissy's case, this compact flash card won't mount. So she ended up sending it, can you correct me if I'm wrong, LC Technologies, a guy named Ray in Florida. She sent her card to him and he physically took apart the card and took the memory chip out, put the memory chip into another device in order to read it and was able to recover her photos. So yes, Ray at LC Technology. Chrissy, how much did that cost in order to recover that card? Do you remember? I know that was years ago. I'm just curious. Oh, really? It cost her $400. Hey, that's not a little bit of money, but I'm guessing that she would have paid anything to get those photos off that card because it was a wedding. So, okay, you can save yourself $400 and buy some recovery software for $29 and $40. Okay, in her case, that would not have worked. I get that. But do you see how this can escalate quickly? And I actually had a friend that had some photos on a hard drive that failed. This was about 10 years ago. hard drive failed, photo recovery software didn't exist like it does today. She had to send it to someone like Ray, and it cost her $3,000 to get that drive recovered. She had no choice. It had weddings on it. Chrissy didn't have a choice. Like, you're going to have to spend this money to get these images back. Are you prepared to do that? Of course you would have to. You would have to figure out a way. But if there's a way to avoid it, obviously, you should take that path first. So I'm going to talk to you now as we wrap up about proper care of your memory cards. Number one, when it goes into your camera before an event, format it in the camera for that camera. I shoot multiple camera bodies from multiple manufacturers. I want this card to be formatted for the camera that is going to be shooting in. After I shoot that session, I take this card, I put it into my card reader attached to my iMac. I copy, that's important, copy the photos from here to my external hard drive. At that point, I have them in two places. Then I run backup on my external hard drive. That backs up automatically. At this point, like when I go to bed after a wedding, as this is kind of churning around, like it's saving them, 3 places. Those images are in 3 places when I go to sleep. I'm kind of a freak that way because it's weddings, right? You can't take any chances. Okay, I don't care if it's wedding, portrait, whatever. You copy this to your computer, you back them up. I will not shoot this card again until that session is delivered to the client. At which point, this card will go back into the camera. Now, those images are still on there. The card will go back into the camera, and guess what? It'll be formatted in the camera that it'll be shooting for. So you format, you shoot, you copy, you format, you shoot, and that's the only thing that happens to your card. If you are going back and forth between your camera or a different camera or your computer or another reader or another card or I don't know, all over the place, you are asking for trouble because these write hidden files to these cards, and that's where the corruption comes in. The corruption is never about hardware. There's no moving parts. It's always about software, and it has to do with the files. So if you can limit those files, then you will limit the possibility of having a corrupt card. I hope that this got you thinking and that you found this useful. I'm going to post a link for this software. There's 2 softwares I have used: Stellar Phoenix Recovery software and Photo Rescue Pro from a company called Data Rescue. They've been around a long time. Their site looks a little out of date, but the stuff works. It just scans the card, it restores the images, you save them to your hard drive, then you take the card that was corrupt and you throw it in the trash and buy a new one. I'll see you in the next video.